This exercise is a great way to build some end range strength and also some control of your shoulders, which is really important for anybody who has hypermobility or has a tendency to feel like they're going to dislocate their shoulder, or anybody who just wants to build some resilience in their shoulders. This is essentially going to be a loaded stretch, so it can feel pretty intense for a lot of people. So please start light and work your way up. The setup for this is going to be on your back, and you can do both arms together or one at a time, depending how comfortable you feel. You're going to keep your elbows straight out to start, and we are going to let the weight pull us into external rotation as much as we feel comfortable. Pause for a second, come back, and go into internal rotation as much as we feel comfortable. Now, what we want to pay attention to with this is that we are not moving our elbow all over the place. If that's the case, we might want to go a little lighter, or you might just need to have your elbow be a little more supported, and you might just need to do one arm at a time. The other thing is that as this pulls you into internal rotation, we don't want to lift the shoulder a ton so that we can really isolate the movement at the glenohumeral joint and then come back up. Same thing with on the way back. We don't necessarily want to lift and arch our back a ton, as that is just going to be loading your spine more so than your actual shoulder. Then the other thing is that as you go back, you might get to a position that you don't feel super comfortable with, and you don't want to push past that. This is a very vulnerable position for a lot of people, which is why it's helpful to build strength here, but we have to do so carefully. So when you are loading the movement, only go to what you feel comfortable. For most people, it helps to start with body weight and see what your range is without the weight, and then add even 1 or 2 pounds at a time. You don't need to jump into anything heavy for this to be beneficial. And the last thing is that as you are back here, you should really be feeling stretching and the front of your shoulder working. Your back of your shoulder should not feel pinching or pain. Those muscles might be working a little bit, but they should not be painful. And then as we come down, the opposite should be true. We should feel some of the back of the shoulder stretching and working, and we should not feel a lot of pinching or pain in the front. So those things are important to pay attention to as you're doing the exercise. Progress for this is really going to be less compensations and a little bit more range of motion that you feel comfortable with. It's not necessarily that we need to add weight as quickly as a lot of people think. So please start really slow and light with this and work on control and range of motion first, and then you can progress with some reps and time at those end ranges, and then we can start adding weight from there.